Hi there! Welcome once again to Movin' Right Along, a Muppet Movie podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. This is the podcast where we watch the Muppet Movie 2 minutes at a time and talk about it a lot. I'm your host, Ryan Rowe.
And I'm your other host, Anthony Strand.
And today we have a guest who was with us for some earlier minutes, and he must have had so much fun that he just wanted to come back for more. Tell the folks who you are.
Hooray! Hi, I'm Danny Horn. And I am very happy to be here. I was here around, I don't know what minute it was. Around Never Before, Never Again-ish.
Yes. And rather than deciding that you would never again come back, you came back.
I actually begged for... Somebody must have dropped out, I know, for you to ask me again. But I was begging, actually, to come back, because I did love it so much.
And for those who don't know, Danny is the founder of toughpigs.com. So this is a cool episode for us.
Yeah.
And in this episode, we are looking at minutes 57 and 58 of the Muppet Movie, in which Kermit answers a phone call, gets tied up in a barn, and meets the sinister Professor Krassman. So we start with the insolent waiter, played by Steve Martin, announcing a phone call for Kermit the Frog. Steve Martin just has a few seconds of screen time here, but once again, he just wrings every possible drop of comedy out of this character.
Yeah.
Well, I actually have in my notes, Steve Martin's cameo now has stretched over 5 of our episodes.
Wow.
And, what a gift that he's in so much of this movie.
Yeah.
Because all of it is good, including, up to and including him saying phone call for Kermit the Frog. He just kind of annoyedly throws the phone down and exits the frame.
Yeah, exactly. Just the fact that he can take a line like, "Are you Kermit the Frog? Phone," and make it so funny.
Yeah.
So now Steve Martin is about to exit our lives forever. So farewell.
Bye, Steve Martin. It's been nice knowing you.
And this is a really interesting moment, is that phone call, because this is kind of the jump off from I Hope There's Something Better Comes Along, which is this incredibly rousing, really funny song. It's probably the funniest song in the show or in the movie. And so you're going from this super high of this awesome Kermit and Ralph song. And then it's going to the tone of the movie is about to completely change and become essentially an adventure story for the next little while.
Yeah.
And so Steve Martin kind of closes that out. And then Ralph has kind of his jump off line where he says, what is it now?
It's not often you see a guy that green have the blues that bad.
And that's kind of a wistful line, and then he kind of goes,
Well,
and that's your transition moment into it's now we have left that tone behind.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that for the first time this time, that the camera does kind of linger on Ralph, and it's kind of it is kind of letting you take a moment to move into this next sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Well, and of course, the other thing about that line is that on the soundtrack album, Ralph says that at the end of the song, right at the end of the song.
Yeah.
And so I have a tendency to forget that it's in the movie at all. When we watched the last minutes where they did the song, I was thinking, oh yeah, he doesn't say that. And then here it was but he does.
His inflection is a little different on the soundtrack too, isn't it? It's a little more bemused.
I don't think he says, beforehand on the soundtrack.
Right. It's more it's not often you see a guy that green have the blues that bad. And here it's more a guy that green have the blues that bad.
Well, and it's over a piano riff on the soundtrack, too. Which I think changes the tone.
Kermit answers the phone, and it's Miss Piggy, and she's in distress. And Doc Hopper tells him to step outside and meet his guys, or his girlfriend will be ham hocks by breakfast, which is Doc Hopper has previously mostly been a funny character, but he's starting to get more threatening now.
Mm-hmm. Well, the reason that I think that that's so threatening is, first of all, he's laughing right in Piggy's face, right? Mm-hmm. As she says, "Oh, Kermit, don't." Doc Hopper's just ha 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 ha, right in her face. And also, he'll do it. He owns a restaurant that
it's an actual threat.
Food out of sentient animals. Yeah. That's what he does. This is not a hollow threat.
He might be planning to add ham hocks to the menu at Doc Hopper's.
Right.
And also he's got his hand, it's a very like physical scene all of a sudden, like getting super physical with Muppets. He's got his hand over her mouth, lets her speak for a second, and then like grabs her and sticks his hand over her mouth again. So it's the first time that he's actually like had his hands on the Muppets.
Right, yeah.
If that makes sense. It like crosses, all of a sudden it crosses this line that you don't even realize necessarily is a line that's gonna get crossed. But before this, he was basically like at least one car length behind.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and when, up to this point when he has interacted directly with them, he's trying to be charming, right? He's trying to convince Kermit through offers, through words, to join him.
And now it's done. It's gone.
Right. And then, right. I mean, of course, he also shot Gonzo with a gun already, but again, that wasn't to their face.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. He's been a smiling sort of broad villain, and now he's done smiling.
So do we know how he actually got Miss Piggy? I guess it was just they said phone call from Miss Piggy, and then she went off to get the phone.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that was a decoy. Like, she thought it was her agent, but it was really like Max calling from a payphone or something, and then they grabbed her.
Yeah, they grabbed her, and then Kermit sits there. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of left up to our imagination.
And so one thing that's interesting about that is that she is not fighting him.
Yeah, not yet.
And so when we know why, it's because it sets up like 3 episodes from now.
Right.
A big. I won't spoil. You know what? I'm not going to spoil 5 minutes from now. But we know that it's setting that up. But it's interesting that here, she is a more conventional, heroine / victim.
Right. She's more of a damsel in distress for the moment.
Yeah. You grab the girl first. And that's really then what kicks it into adventure stories. Like all of a sudden we're in a different movie and it's an adventure story.
Right.
And there's another thing. I'm just going to keep on talking.
Go for
That's okay. Please, by all means.
This is why I demanded to have more episodes. I just have more things to say. One thing that I noticed just like watching these minutes for this podcast is the music. Did you notice how intense the music gets as soon as Piggy like comes on the phone?
Yeah.
There's like these trilling violins.
It's very ominous.
Yeah, and there's this snare drum, which is super intense. Like now,
right. That's the thing that I wrote down is I love the war movie-esque rat-a-tat-tat score as Kermit opens the door.
I think the snare drum made an appearance earlier when Kermit met Doc Hopper for the first time. So I always think of this as kind of like it's coming back, and this time it's more serious.
Yeah, it sounds like gunfire. It does. It punctuates like at various times throughout the conversation. Like basically whenever Kermit isn't talking, it's like there's gunfire happening.
Yeah.
It's super intense.
Yeah. Well, speaking of gunfire, Kermit comes out of the inn and suddenly there's 6 guns in his face, which we talked earlier about how it's really not that common to see guns in a Muppet thing, but here's 6 of them.
It's startling. Like, I never thought about how many it is. Like, I stopped and counted them. 6 guns is so many guns. Pointing at Kermit's tiny little head.
Seems like overkill.
It does. He's just a little baby.
And of course, Kermit's meek little line is, "Are you the guys I'm supposed to meet?"
Yeah, that's good. That's solid Kermit stuff.
Yeah.
You know what? There's one. I'm going to go back just a second. Is Max during the Doc Hopper call? He's like standing in the back and kind of staring at Doc holding Piggy, and I believe that this might be at least kind of leading up to his straw that broke the camel's back moment.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it right now. He's watching Hopper on the phone, and then he kind of like turns his head away.
Yeah,
like he's really not sure about what's happening right now.
And he's really acting. Like Austin Pendleton is specifically doing a thing.
Yeah, especially for being in the background.
Yeah, he's not just standing in the background and observing. Like he's having a response to this.
Huh? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, maybe Max is the secret protagonist of this movie.
I think he is.
I mean, he does kind of save the day.
Yeah.
And he has a complete story arc.
Yeah, he's like Mr. Banks in Mary Poppins.
Exactly.
They should make a movie about Jim Henson convincing Jerry Jewell to write this script called Saving Max.
Saving Max, perfect. Meanwhile, we cut to the barn where Kermit and Piggy are now tied to a post. Piggy says she's not worried because she knows Kermit is planning something bold and clever. Kermit says, "I got us this far, didn't I?" And I've decided that I just really like it when Muppets do really dry humor. Mm-hmm. And Kermit is especially good at it.
Yeah. Well, and I love Piggy's faith in him. Like, she is, once again, she's so sure that he's going to assume the awesome responsibility of command, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's what this is. She knows that Kermit is a born leader. So that's why she's not a bit worried.
Although, again, she just met him that day.
Right. But he got us this far, didn't he?
Yeah. He makes a good first impression.
Yeah.
And I guess she's really bought in, and he is too, really, bought into the way that this adventure story works. That she's the damsel in distress. She's waiting there, super glamorous looking. And Kermit is the one who's going to save the day. And that's really kind of the funny part about this moment is putting Kermit into a role where he's really just not competent at all.
So Piggy is just expecting them to play out their roles the way that they're meant to, and Kermit isn't quite prepared. And
kind of physically, like, there's a lot sort of in this, and then like in the next minute or so, where like he really squeezes his body a lot. Like, they do a lot with like that. This is an empty puppet that has Jim Henson's hand in it. That he's like wriggling around, and then there's a point where he like scrunches all the way down. Where, this is supposed to be his big moment, and physically, like, he can't even like keep himself inflated. He's right. He's so incompetent with this particular moment.
Right. Well, and I love how during that, when he's wiggling to try to loosen the ropes, right? Mm-hmm. He's looking down at the ropes, like making eye contact is going to help. And it's so adorable.
Yeah.
It's like, he just looks like the cutest little buddy. He couldn't be farther from an action star, right?
Right. Well, he's trying. He just doesn't really know what to do.
It's like, how can I convince you to go along with me on this? Mm-hmm. He says to the rope. He's trying to make friends.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, this is the same movie where they were able to hand a character a screenplay and do some exposition. So maybe he's just expecting something like that to happen again.
Something's going to happen. You don't really know what's going to turn into a Muppet, I guess.
Right. And then Doc Hopper has Max get the professor, and with a shot of a pair of boots clicking their heels, we are introduced to our next cameo guest star, Mel Brooks as Professor Krassman.
Whose introduction to this movie is so great, right? Yeah. That close-up of his heels clicking together, and then we pan up and see that it's Mel Brooks.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's really intense.
Well, and for listeners who might not know, who is Mel Brooks, right?
Who is Mel Brooks?
Oh man, are we that old? Oh my goodness.
Sure.
It never occurred to me that people would need to be introduced to who Mel Brooks is, but you're right.
Well, we've been doing that with all the cameos.
Yeah, we've been doing that with all the guest stars. And like, I think people might know him now as just kind of the elder statesman of comedy who shows up and sometimes does funny things, even though he's very, very old. But in 1979, he was an active film director and like one of the top comedy directors in Hollywood.
He was one of the leading comedy guys.
Yes, right. He had made 3 perfect films in the past decade or so. The Producers, Blazing Saddles, and Young Frankenstein. And now, so this is 1979. His most recent movie was High Anxiety, which he starred in. And I was actually saying this to Danny before we started recording. He's so much funnier in the Muppet Movie than he was in his own movies when he played the lead.
Huh.
And I'm not sure why.
That's an interesting point, because he doesn't really play the lead very often in his movies. What, High Anxiety and Silent Movie? Are there any others?
Silent Movie, High Anxiety, Life Stinks.
Oh, see, I've never seen Life Stinks.
And arguably History of the World Part 1.
Oh, yeah, in one of the segments.
Right.
So, yeah, I guess maybe he's better as a supporting guy who can just come in and be wacky for a few minutes, but
that's
interesting.
This is not a character who can survive more than a couple of minutes in contact with the movie.
Right. You wouldn't want to see a movie about this guy.
Right, because he's insane in every possible way.
If the Muppet franchise was like Star Wars, they would be doing, all these spin-off projects. Like we mentioned the Bernie and Arnie movie, so there would be a Professor Krassman origin story.
But here's it would, if they made the Professor Krassman origin story right now, it would star Kevin Pollak, and I don't want any part of it.
Well, fortunately, they'll never make that movie. So,
but really, if this was like the Muppet Movie expanded universe, like his daughter would be this like green skinned freedom fighter who's like super important in a whole series that you never heard of.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd watch it. I'd watch that as long as he wasn't played by Kevin Pollak. All right.
Yeah, no, that'd be all
right. But yeah, and obviously we can talk more about Mel Brooks next time.
Sure.
Spoiler.
I will say though that I think High Anxiety is underrated. I like that movie more than most people do.
Okay.
There's that. So here's a question. What is Professor Krassman a professor of?
That's a really
he's must be some sort of brain scientist, right?
Yeah, well, Hopper introduces him as the leading authority on mind control in frogs. But how do you get to that point? What do you study?
What does he have on the back of his lab coat?
It says Prof. K. MD.
Oh, so he is a doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe he was maybe he started as a vet and then studied psychology or something.
I'm kind of wondering how Doc knows this guy.
Yeah, I had that. I was going to ask you guys that too. How do you think he found Krassman? Like, did he look in the yellow pages for frog mind control, or?
That's a good question. I hope so.
I mean, I guess he has Frog Legs. He runs Frog Legs restaurant chain.
He uses Professor Krassman's services to put the frogs into an obedient state before he slaughters them. So they're not hopping around.
My goodness, that totally now, yes, that makes sense.
This whole scenario just got that much worse.
Yes.
Entire movie.
So should we talk about like the intensity of the Nazi scientist walking in?
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty clear that this character is supposed to essentially be a Nazi, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, and the most startling thing about that for me, I'll save until next week because it's a line he has next week. But
cool. Stay tuned, everyone.
Yeah. So what is making me think about the Nazi scientist then is this idea, the mind control and getting all the frogs to go to be slaughtered is basically that is kind of the concentration camp for frogs.
Yeah. Yeah. It's terrifying.
That really just upped the intensity of this whole moment for me.
Yeah, that's really dark.
Yeah.
But it's incredible. I just want to like kind of keep going a little bit just on his entrance and like the when Steve Martin walks in, like he just kind of walks into frame. He doesn't get like a big intro shot, and having like seeing Dr. Krassman's boots and then it pans up is really announcing like here's a new character who comes in, and he goes nuts. Like every line that he says, he's delivering in a slightly different way, and really kind of taking over the movie. So this is the moment where he says like, "Where's the victim? I mean patient."
And what's so great about that is that little oopsie giggle that he gives after he says victim.
And then like leaning all the way over Piggy to examine Kermit and sort of ignoring her, and then really quickly saying, "You like garlic, don't you?"
Oh, that's such a good joke, and I'd never noticed it before.
I mean, that must have been an ad-lib on his part.
That does.
I think a lot of this stuff was.
Yeah, so because I looked at that June 1978 draft of the screenplay, and Professor Krassman's part is like half of what's here in the movie, or maybe even less. It's like he comes in and he turns on the machine, and that's it. So when Mel Brooks got on board, I guess they seized the opportunity to really expand this character and make it a lot funnier.
Was he German in the script?
I don't know if it specifies. I guess Krassman kind of sounds like a German scientist, but
he's super German.
Yeah. There may have been some German references. I don't remember. I don't have it in front of me.
But it's just, so so here's a character coming in. It's really announcing that this is suddenly a different kind of story. So like Ralph in his kind of jump off line indicates like, okay, now it's time for this adventure story. And then that's what we're in for like a minute, maybe, from like Piggy's phone call to Krassman's entrance. And then with Krassman's entrance, all of a sudden, I think this is now another kind of movie, which I'm not even exactly sure what it is.
Yeah, well, it's still intense now, but it's also very wacky.
Yeah.
It's a ridiculous intense. It's a parody of intense, right?
It's an intense that hopefully the children in the audience can handle.
It didn't do anything bad to me except make me hate Germany, I guess. No, it did not.
And how's that going for you?
It's been great. It's been a good licensing.
I don't remember this scene scaring me necessarily when I was a kid.
Yeah, and I guess that's probably a good reason. Like in this moment where they're pointing guns at Kermit, somebody's going to kill somebody. The fact that Krassman comes in and is so wacky and is so funny probably actually takes some of the sting out of it.
Right, it makes it go down a little easier.
Yeah. Although actually in the next minute, then it just gets even worse and scarier. So
yeah, right.
And I mean, so here we have Professor Krassman. We don't know what he's going to do yet, but it's obviously not going to be good for Kermit.
Yes.
So anything else before we close out and leave Kermit and Piggy tied to that post until next week?
No, that's it for me.
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right. So listeners, be sure to come back next week to find out what happens next. And in the meantime, check out toughpigs.com on the internet for lots of Muppet fun. And we are also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr. You can find me on Twitter at @MeRyanRowe, and you can find Anthony at ZeppoMarxist. And Danny, where can everyone find you on the internet?
I have a blog about a 1960s vampire television show called Dark Shadows, and you can find that at darkshadowseveryday.com.
Excellent. And everyone should.
Yes.
And also, if you can give us a positive review on iTunes, we will be your best friend. And don't forget to come back next time and join us for another episode of Movin' Right Along. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.